Hello everyone, this is a video lecture for 1314, section 3.4. You're in for it now. Yeah. Zeros of polynomials. Now, okay, this is not too bad of a section. Here in this class, we don't have any complex numbers. Yay! So we don't have to worry about that. But you definitely got square roots. And that makes people sad. So we'll have to figure that out as we go. Okay, what do we put in these two boxes? Let me see what I got here. I got fractions and whole numbers. Fractions. I'm going to put integers instead. I like integers. Etc. And then down here is square roots. Okay, so we're going to get square root answers, and they typically come in plus and minus versions because we're going to be using quadratic formula in just a minute. So let me just zoom out right quick. We got this little thing which we'll talk about, and then quadratic formula, quadratic formula, quadratic formula, quadratic formula, and then we're done. What? Oh man, I gotta say, this section is not my favorite in the workbook. Your homework is not this bad. It's not. Your homework is fine. You'll have maybe two quadratic formulas at max. Okay, 2, not 5 of them. So here we go. Hard break, brand new thing. Rational zero theorem, blah, 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 blah. It's the possible rational zeros. And because that's so long, I like to put possible rational zeros. Makes it way quicker. So find all the possible rational zeros for this thing. And blah, 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 blah. This is not a very good formula. Let me give you the better formula. It's the factors of the last term divided by factors of the first term. Okay? What I mean by first and last is right here. This is the last, this is the first. Or you could say, instead of last, you could say the constant term. And then for the first term, you could say the leading coefficient. That's all like super mathy. I say first and last, that's fine. So factors of 10 divided by factors of 5. And by factors, I mean like really basic factors. So factors of 10 are 1, 2, 5, and 10. Notice that I put plus and minus, because to get up to a positive 10, we could do positive 1 and positive 10, or a negative 2 and a negative 5, blah, blah, blah. Negative 5, so factors of 5 is 1 and 5. And this is kind of your answer. What they're wanting you to write in my math lab is to divide everything by each one of these divisors, the dividend, I don't know. Anyways, divide each one. So then everything divided by 1, which doesn't change anything. 1, 2, 5, and 10. But then everything's divided by 5, and so I got a 1/5, a 2/5. I didn't think I wrote that correctly. 2/5. 5 over 5 is a 1. We already got it. And 10 over 5 is a 2. We already got it. This is your list. That's what you need to type in my math lab. If we're going to be super mean, we could even require to write them out individually like this. I think that my math lab allows you to use a plus and minus button now, but like on earlier versions, like even like a year or two ago, it wouldn't let you do that. It would force you to do this long way. So there you go. I know this is a new problem, but there you go. So these are the possible rational zeros. Again, just possible zeros. These are the list of possible answers to solving this thing. Now, I don't want to solve this because that would take forever. But if you're going to take a good guess, I'm going to say these are good guesses. If you're going to take a good guess, it's going to be from this list. Could one of my answers ever be a 3? No. What about a 11? No. What about a 7? No. What about a 5? Yes. What about a 2? Yeah. So it's just a list of possible answers, and from there, it says possible. possible answers. And from there, we can pick some of them and try them out, blah, blah, blah. Here in this class, you're not going to have to do so much of that. Maybe a little bit, but not so much. We're just here to satisfy the homework. The homework needs you to do this, so do it. Here we go. Possible rational zeros. We're going to look at the 1 over 6. So factors of 1 is 1. Factors of 6, 1, 2, 3, and 6. So then here in this case, we have a lot of fractions. So then 1 over 1 is a 1. 1 over 2 is a half. 1 over 3, 1 over 6. These are the possible answers. And if I had to start guessing to solve that one, I would use those. The good thing is that you're not having to do that too much, especially with the fractions, because we got Desmos. And so we're going to use Desmos here in a few minutes. But let's keep going. We only got this little bit left in the section, technically. And I'm here to do the workbook. I just got to say that here, okay? I'm here to do the workbook. This is this video lecture series. But on my channel, you're viewing this on my channel right now on YouTube. On my channel in YouTube, I have different playlists. And if you go to the original I don't spell that right. Yeah, I did. Algebra1314 playlist. I think that this one's the My Math Lab or something like that, or new, or whatever. Just no, not that one, the original one. That one goes through literally homework questions, and the homework questions do not always have this, okay? There's like 2 that have this, and that's fine. I would recommend this for this section in particular because it shows you the real homework questions, or you just go to the homework yourself, okay? And so that's my recommendation for that. Because it is going to be way easier. I want to give you an example of how an easier problem would be, okay? So just for a whole minute, let's just say that this is like question 0, and this is what it is. I'm actually picking this from the previous section, so if you go back, you would probably see it. I just know that these set of numbers work fine. So it says this, and it says solve for x. Okay, this is a very typical problem here. And the possible rational zeros are factors of 8 divided by factors of 1. So all the possible rational zeros are factors of 8. 1, 2, 4, and 8. Okay, so those are my list of questions. I could start doing synthetic division with them, and that's really cool. But I would really, for this class, 1314, I would recommend using Desmos immediately. Honestly, this is the way to do it. This is how I would teach in class. It's just not worth all your time to go and guess all the way. Just type it in, and boom, boom, boom. Now, here's the thing. Look at my answers. -1, 2, and 4. Were they on my list of possible zeros? Yeah. -1, +2, and +4. See, they were on my list. So then I can now put those in my answers. And my list showed that, yeah, those would definitely be there. So there you go. You're done. That's the entire problem. Nothing else to do. That was your homework problem. You're done. Okay? You get me? That's the majority of your homework. There are some with quadratic formula. The workbook way overdoes it. I mean, there's 4 of them here. I don't remember seeing 4 on your homework, okay? But it is a very good skill. We should practice this. If you're going to skip this section because most of the homework don't have it, you will not get it right on the exam. This is on the exam. You will have one of these on the exam, okay? So you got to learn the technique. Best to do it now. Okay, so it says find all the zeros. I mean, that is all they're asking. Go. And I will still use Desmos up front just in case. There might be something helpful here. It might be easy answers only. And I'm clicking, and I found this. Okay, so those are my answers. Notice right here, do you see these 2? I like to call them cousins because they have the same last name. You see that right there? Not all cousins have the same last name, but I'm saying you got the same last name, cousins. So when you see the cousins, that's kind of an indicator that quadratic formula is going to be coming up, okay? So if you had this just straight up and you didn't even have this formula sitting in front of you, this is an indicator that, like, there's going to be some quadratic formula going on. But we do have this guy. This other one is a negative 0.5. Again, you could probably already guess it, is a negative half. And so these are my three answers. One of them I already know for sure, negative 1/2. And then I need to find the other two. And it's not going to be easy. So how do we do this problem? We now have negative 2 is one of my answers, but I need to still do synthetic division with it. That's a negative 11. So here we go. And you're going to have to trust me a little bit. So 2.5 cancel, make a negative 1. Negative 18. Two negatives make a positive. We got half of 18 is a 9. Negative 2. 2's cancel, make a 1. Zeroed out. There we go. So I proved that this is a 0 indeed, because we got a 0 right here. A 0 would get a 0. That's fine. But that's not the bigger point here. What I was wanting to do was to reduce it down to this guy. And if you notice one other thing, they all have a 2, and I would recommend pulling that out right now if at all possible, because quadratic formula will be much worse for you if you don't do that. So here we go now. This is what we need to now factor. And a lot of times you could just factor it, but this way is not factorable at all. They're recommending using quadratic formula anyways. It's almost always part of the directions. So we need to do that. So let me just remind you, this is 1x squared minus 9x minus 1. This is my A, this is my B, this is my C. Plugging it all in, here we go. X equals a negative of a negative 9. Plus or minus the square root of negative 9 squared minus 4 times 1 times a negative 1 all over 2 times 1. Two negatives are going to make a positive. Two negatives make a positive. 9 times 9 is 81. Two negatives make a positive again, 4 all over 2. And then the inside would be an 85 all over 2. And you are done. Those are your last answers. And so let me just give you what the box in my math lab will look like. You can put a plus minus in there. In fact, you could just type this as your answer right here, but you could also do them separate. I don't think I recommend it, but you could also do that, and then you're done. Okay, so you got 3 answers total because there was a 3 for my degree. You're done. That's it. You're done. Now, let's talk. See that 2 right here that I totally forgot about? It's not part of the results. In fact, we've talked about this before. This whole thing's equal to 0. I divide by 2 on both sides, and 0 divided by 2 is still a 0, so it basically just goes away. So that's a nice thing. Try to do that if you can, because otherwise you get some nasty stuff here. Also, I'm done at this point because 85, I cannot break it down any further. Is in the square root of 85, I can't reduce it down to something else. And let me just show you some stuff. Okay, so 85. What numbers, what prime factors do we have, right? So there's a 5 in there for sure. Oh, 5 and 17. So there's not any perfect squares. There's not a pair. You can't reduce this down. Essentially what you have is the square root of 5 times 17, and that's it. It's just that, okay? So it's not really nice. There's nothing else to do. You're done. We're done, okay? I'll tell you when we're not done, but we're done. So let's do it again and again and again, and then we're done, and it's not that bad, okay? So here we go. Notice, this one has 0x squared, so watch out for that. I'm going to graph this thing, and you here in this class, 1314, always start with a graph in Desmos. Just start with a graph, see what happens. It might be nice, it might not be. Oh, cousins. Again, your cousins might not have the same last name, and it still might be a quadratic formula. But if you do see the cousins, oh yeah, it's definitely an indicator. Okay, so it's not the perfect indicator, but it's pretty close. Okay, you see storm clouds up top? It's probably gonna rain. All right. Anyways, I know, the little things in life. So -6 is definitely one of my answers. Let's find the other guys now. So what I need to do is synthetic division. Remember, that's x cubed. This is x squared, 0x squared. Got to have the placeholders. -6, -6, positive 36, -1, positive 6, zeroed out. So that's good. And then we got x squared minus 6x minus 1. Again, I'm kind of like asking you here, hey, can you factor that? And if you can, cool. But you can't. I know you can't. So just what do you do? Quadratic formula. Here we go. So negative of a negative 6 plus or minus the square root of negative 6 all squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1 all over 2 times 1. 6 plus or minus the square root of positive 36 plus 4 all over 2. And this is where it gets a little bit more kooky, okay? Not a cookie, it's a kooky. A little weird. So let's try to figure out what's going on here. We got the square root of 40 is nothing happy. It ain't going to help you. But I can reduce this down, and because the 40 is technically 4 times 10, so that's kind of something you can use. You could also say that it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. So that's another way to say it. What I often do is like the little tree thing. So I want to do this on the side here. Let's just do it over here. So 40. Is there a 2? Yes, leaves behind a 20. Is there a 2? Yes, leaves behind a 10. Is there a 2? Yes, leaves behind a 5. These are your prime factors. And what you can do is then rewrite that as 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 all over 2. And then you pull out the pairs, not the triplets. Leave that other guy over there, just the pairs. You pull out a pair. Okay? And then you basically cancel a 2 on the outside here everywhere. So 6 divided by 2 is a 3. 2 divided by 2 is a 1. Leaves the inside, that's the square root 10, and there you go. So my last answers would be 3 plus or minus the square root of 10. There's my final results. Okay. You could also just say that this was 4 times 10, square root of 4 is a 2. Lots of different ways, but this is something that you're going to have to do. Please practice it. Please practice it. What I can also say, though, is we can test this theory up here. You see, those are my answers, right? Are those actually on my math lab? I'm sorry, on Desmos? Look. So, confirmed, those are the answers. We did do it right. If you do not reduce it, if you leave it like this, my math lab will get very upset and say, no, you're wrong. You're not wrong. It's just being picky. But I can't help that. I can't change that. Okay, it's being picky, and we both have to deal with it. I'm showing you how to deal with it. Let's do some more. Oh, my goodness. Step 1, Desmos. Truly. You got to do some Desmos up front to make it a lot nicer and easier. Otherwise, you're just testing numbers. And, if you want to see me do it without Desmos, I have my other videos. So I was recommending my other ones. So Algebra1314 videos, they're great. I mean, they are super happy videos. They're super great at all this. They do this and much more. But they don't use Desmos, and that's not good for us, okay? So it's sad for them. I never use Desmos for them. Anyway, so let's look at what we got. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we got 2 answers that were not too bad. And so it says solve for x. And so I got negative 6, negative 1, and I'm already halfway there. Synthetic division, here we go. 1, negative 3, negative 66, negative 74, negative 12. Whew. Negative 9, 54. You're testing me, aren't you? Negative 12, 72, negative 2, positive 12, zeroed out. Okay. And then we tried the negative 1 with the new numbers. You got to use the new numbers. That was your remainder. You don't have to use that. Negative 1, negative 10, 10, negative 2, positive 2, zeroed out. So the new number is x squared minus 10x minus 2. I would love to factor it, but we can't. So we do quadratic formula instead. Negative of a negative 10 plus or minus the square root. Negative 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times the negative 2 all over 2 times 1 So I got a 10 plus or minus, that's a 100 plus 8 all over 2. Now, I know that what we have right now is the square root of 108. I really think that we can pull some numbers out from that. So 108 divided by 4. Oh, yeah, there it is. And the 27 technically is also something. So in a way, I'm trying to say that I got 4 times 9 times 3 is 108. So I got a 4, a 9, and a 3. And you can take those 4 and the 9 and move them out as a 2 and a 3 on the outside. Again, you can do like the whole pairs thing in the tree. Either way is totally fine. Cancel your 2's out. So then 10 over 2 is a 5. These 2's cancel, leaves the 3 square root of 3 behind. And that is your last answers, unfortunately. I guess fortunately, because I didn't have to do any more. But yeah, that is a lot of work. And I went pretty fast. But guess what? You can go half speed. And I would talk like this. I don't know. Just keep practicing. That's why there's 4 of them here in the workbook. You don't have this many on your homework. I have to keep reminding you. Step 1, Desmos. We're almost done. This is the last one of this section. But again, I totally recommend you go into my other videos for more actual homework questions. Because, again, the workbook's cool, but it way overdoes it here. Okay, so those are my answers. So for sure, I got -2 and +2. And then we do synthetic division with them. The audio didn't cut out. I was just kind of quiet for a second. I know, so weird. All right. The 2. There we go. Again, we're using the new numbers to reduce it down. That's the only way that this problem will work. You have to use the new numbers to reduce it down some more. Okay, and so then we're left with x squared minus 4x plus the 1 equals 0. Here we go once again. Last time, negative of a -4. -4 squared. 4 times 1 times another 1. 2 times 1. +4 in the front. 16 minus 4. So we got a 12. 12 is technically 4 times 3. So 3 times 4. That 4 can come out to the front as a 2. Again, you can do the pair, pull out the pairs thing. Cancel a 2 in the fronts. Again, you're not canceling a 2 there. You're just doing it right here and right here. That's all you're doing here, okay? So 4 over 2 is 2. 2 over 2 is a 1. Square root of 3, you don't have to write the 1. And there you go. Yeah, for the tree thing, you got 12. Does it have a 2? Yes. Leave behind a 6. Does it have a 2? Yes. Leave behind a 3. There you go. And so what I actually have here is 3 times 2 times 2. And you're pulling the pairs out as a single 2. Okay? Lots of ways to do it. There it is. And we're done. That's actually a really quick section because they're not doing all your homework questions. Please go to my other playlist. Please go check out the homework questions. Much easier than you think. It is. Thank you very much. Have a great day.